cars allowed African Americans to drive past segregation, but they needed to know where they could travel safely, on their own or with their families. Victor and Alma Green fulfilled this need by publishing the Negro Traveler's Green Book. Their travel guide reached an unprecedented level of impact through a partnership with Esso gas stations. With Esso stations carrying the Green Book, the Greens reached a national market, both for travelers and for business owners to list their amenities to this audience. Victor was supported by his wife Alma Green, who later took up the mantle of publisher and then co-publisher until the guide ceased in 1967. Victor and Alma Green believed in a better day. Victor wrote, "There will be a day sometime in the near future when this guide will not have to be published. That is when we as a race will have equal rights and privileges in the United States." And together, they started to build that better day.
That?
No, that goes like this.
But then the other, I think the wires, that's heavy too.
That's the both of them.
Her
was
hands
heavy.
are still strong. See, they had the pneumatic
Yeah, they do that.
wires, and then the riveter went, and the bucker was holding this.
Yeah.
Yep, on the other
So you
side.
can put this back, cause I held it there and I ain't held it like you do it like this. You do it about 3 times and then 4 times you go through the wheel. Cause that's a heavy gun and everything. And you can only pull it back so far and it'll do so many things. And then you keep pulling it back, you might hit somebody on the other side. And the bucker, this was the bucker holding this, so that it would get flat.
And then the metal was between,
Yeah,
so you couldn't
very
see each
smooth,
other.
just like this.
I couldn't see each other because you're working on the piece of metal.
Just had to be precise.
Yeah, you had to be in sync with each other.
Wow.
Yeah. You was on the other side of me, and you be shaking over there, and I be doing like this over here.
Nitro Nellie Goings, the first African-American driver in the funny car racing category. Nellie and her husband Otis Goings began their racing career circa 1968 with their first funny car, a 1968 Plymouth Barracuda, which ran a BFC injected alcohol combination. They named their car the Goings and Goings Conqueror. The couple ran with the UDRA, IFCA, AHRA, and occasionally in the NHRA, with Nellie racing and Otis as pit crew. In 1970, Otis and Nellie decided to step up their operation and moved up to the AFC injected nitro class. They contacted Henny Harada of the famous Harada and Hobbs AAD fame to help him build and tune the engines. With Kenny Harada on their team, they were able to put together a healthy running combination for the AFC class, running a best of 8.05 and 185 miles per hour. Eventually, Nellie and Otis upgraded the 1968 Barracuda body to a 1970 Challenger body. Nellie remembers her best miles per hour, which was 214. As a result of their successes in the AFC ranks, Nitro Nellie was noticed by the press corps. Nellie was a featured story in the November 1971 issue of Ebony magazine, and then in May 1972, the Associated Press ran stories on her that were circulated throughout the United States. As a result of these articles, Nellie received many letters from the public congratulating on her racing successes. Nitro Nellie was once again featured in the Ebony magazine family, this time in the November 1973 Ebony Junior magazine. She was honored by the East Coast Drag Times Hall of Fame in October of 2014.
Well, Charlie was born in a pretty rough neighborhood in Evansville. It was a place called Baptist Town. It was a segregated area near the Ohio River. Charlie always had an entrepreneurial spirit about him, even as a small child. He would shine shoes, and he would set up his shoe shine stand on the corner of the Benninghoff-Nolan Company. And that was an automobile sales and shop. A lot of times Charlie would be sitting outside the garage and he would always hear the sounds before he would ever see what was going on. He got to learn some of the mechanics, what that particular problem was, and so he began to be able to diagnose these kinds of automotive problems by ear. They said, you know what? Why don't you come in here and start working and learn the ins and outs of the car? Charlie was building his own car from scratch with, a carburetor from a Duesenberg and the seats out of a Ford, and when he was all done with it, it was just this weird sort of combination car. But man, the thing could fly. So the Color Speedway Association comes up with their first event in 1924. Charlie was actually not a part of that race. He was not a part of the inaugural race. So by 1925, it had earned the title the Gold and Glory Sweepstakes. By golly, by the time that name was on there, guess who was at the top of the list of drivers to be entered? Charlie Wiggins. And he's like, okay, now I'm ready, and I'm ready to go. And I mean, by the time he took off, he literally and figuratively left everybody in his dust. But every year he had a different Wiggins special. He was actually evolving the industry as he was building new race cars every year and making them stronger, faster, better. But he clearly had it burning inside him the whole time.
I've been blessed with 33 years in the automotive space and have worked with 4 different car companies. But I've saved the best for last. And now I'm with Hyundai Motor America. At Hyundai, our passion is progress for humanity, and we are committed to diversity, equity, and inclusion, which has not only made our company stronger, but helped us achieve historical growth in sales. The Industry Influencer Award from the Automotive Hall of Fame is an incredible honor, and I'm very grateful. But I'm being recognized as an individual who is simply part of a fantastic Hyundai family. At Hyundai, we always say, great vehicles, great people, great purpose.
Most kids, toddlers really, draw stick figures of horses and people and houses. I always drew cars. Even at age like 2.5 or 3, I was drawing cars. As I grew older, I built model cars, and I would ride my bike to my father's auto body repair shop. It was shop. And he didn't want me to get too comfortable there. So I spent a little time there, and what he didn't realize, I would then ride my bike to another shop, and then another shop. And I would go to different shops around town, just hanging out, watching them work on cars. I loved cars, just crazy about it. And I loved the auto show. The auto show was my fantasy land, my Disney World, and the bright colors and the cars, the displays, the music, all of that. I absolutely loved it. When I was 8 years old, my parents took me, and as we're going through the auto show, there was this one concept car that stood out. And I'll never forget it. It was like it was last week. My mother's on my right, my father's on my left. And as I looked at the concept car, I said, when I grow up, I want to design cars for that company. I was 8 years old. The car was the Cadillac Cyclone. And that was the moment that it just, you know, I loved cars and I loved drawing them and building models, but that was the moment where I said, I want to make a career designing cars.
Well, I consider myself a lifelong learner and someone who enjoys problem solving, whether it was working at the Ford plant, bringing that plant up to speed, new systems, new processes, bringing some of the knowledge that I had brought from other industries in. That was what I was hired to do. And so there's something difficult to solve, let's send Nelda. And that's what also has motivated me, but that's a strong part of who I am. Being awarded the Industry Influencer by the Automotive Hall of Fame has been very rewarding and is the pinnacle of my automotive career.
Veronica Mitchell, whose engineering breakthroughs supported General Motors' sustainability efforts, now serving as the Chief of Staff, VP of Electric Vehicle Center of Expertise. As lead integration engineer for General Motors, Veronica has responsibility for managing vehicle mass weight performance on compact crossover vehicles, serves as the primary mass engineering interface to the platform team, and provides mass engineering support to the C14X and GMT 311 programs. In 2002, she moved to the General Motors Stamping Organization and managed the design, construction, and validation of underbody and front-end sheet metal tooling for mid-size SUV products. In 2006, she accepted her current assignment as lead mass integration engineer, working to optimize vehicle mass to promote improved fuel economy performance. In addition, her various engineering and leadership roles at GM in the areas of vehicle mass integration, body engineering, body structures, computer-aided design and manufacturing, CAD/CAM, metal fabrication, and vehicle material recycling all further expand Mitchell's versatility and areas of expertise.
They built the buggies like a half a block from where I'm at right now, sitting. Across the street was the Patterson Manufacturing Company, which was the only Black American-owned automobile manufacturing in America. Fred focused on building the automobiles. He knew that the buggies were a dying breed. Fred Patterson was kind of a car dealer too. He sold cars, and they were Fords and Model Ts, but that was in the later 20s.
The first car that my father had was a Patterson touring car. And we only used it on Sundays. And the family would all pile into it on Sundays and go for a ride in Dayton.
He was an engineer, naturally. I would call him an engineer, a pioneer, and he just worked on cars, and he would notice what they did. Now, he put leaf springs, he had a rotating rear end, he put electric start, he put electric lights on. Say around 1915, and this is when he first debuted his first car, September 26, 1950. They were about the third largest employer in this town. He made them from 1915 through 1919, and then he converted into buses and continued making buses and other utility type vehicles for other customers. C.R. Patterson's son, Fred, he was a well-dressed guy. He looked nice, and he was well-dressed. He would get an order, and he'd come back and say, hey, or call, he'd call. She'd say, he called, hey, we got an order, we got a bus ordered. Later in the years, he had to, when they converted over to the buses, he would go out and get some buses, but it was tough. She said it was tough getting the job. to build a bus. Patterson's definitely deserve recognition. It's just ironic that, you know, him being the first black American-owned automobile manufacturer in the United States, there was none other. It was to just own his own business is a feat up on its own.
Ladies and gentlemen, our 2015 Industry Leader of the Year, Rodney O'Neill. Congratulations, Rodney.
The success of Delphi, I played a role in it, but I was not alone. And together as a team, we rose up and met the challenges and did some phenomenal things. So I stand before you tonight as a result of hard work and dedication by the countless thousands in this company. And what a great feeling to be chosen as the Industry Leader of the Year. It just doesn't get any better than that. And I'm so humbled and I'm so honored. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Carrie Gray was the manager of small market plans and strategies for Chrysler Corporation. She graduated from the Detroit Institute of Technology in 1971, earning a degree in chemistry and math. In 1973, Ms. Gray completed a year of graduate study in chemistry at the University of Detroit, then went on to earn an MBA in finance and marketing in 1976. Ms. Gray began her automotive career at Ford Motor Company, holding positions as technical standards engineer in the Graduate Management Training Program, materials engineer, body engineering office and advanced car planner, product planning and development division. In 1978, she moved to Chrysler Corporation as senior mid-size car product planner. Ms. Gray has received several honors in recognition of her efforts, and in 1978 and 1979 was listed in Who's Who in American Women. In 1979, she also received the Kizzy Outstanding American Woman Award. In December of 1980, Carrie Gray accepted Award Young Leaders and Excellence Award 1980 at the Automotive Hall of Fame. Carrie Gray continued to be a pillar in her community by providing pro bono legal services to Detroiters.
When Ed Davis moved to Detroit in the early 30s from his boyhood home in Shreveport, Louisiana, in 1936, Ed got his first opportunity to test his natural sales talents at a Chrysler Plymouth dealership. Ed passed that test with flying colors and was soon selling more cars than the next 3 salesmen combined. In 1940, after overcoming many roadblocks placed in his way because of his race, Ed Davis became the first African American to own a new car dealership when he was awarded a Studebaker franchise. This move only proved what Ed had known all along, that he had what it took to become a successful businessman. The following year, Ed made another smart move. He married a young woman named Mary Agnes Miller, a franchise that has far outlived Studebaker and has endured for 55 years. In 1963, Ed became the first black franchise dealer for one of the big 3 when he opened a Chrysler Plymouth dealership in Detroit. Once again, Ed proved that his success was no accident. He won many awards for sales leadership from Chrysler, as well as local and national recognition for his record accomplishments. Throughout his career as an automobile dealer, Ed set many examples of good citizenship, always finding the time to serve his community. After retiring from the automobile business in 1971, Ed remained active in numerous civic and charitable organizations. We are proud to induct Ed Davis into the Automotive Hall of Fame.
I also want to pay tribute to my father, my late father, who was the first person that I looked upon as a person that I would follow in days to come. He taught me a number of things, and one thing that he always was short with, but he said, just remember always the things to do, and that is to follow the principles that I've taught you. So I give all the credit to my father in my earlier stage. Later, I want to thank the community for the many things they did for me and the love that they showed for me at times when it was tough, but I was successful because the community was behind me. And I want it to be known that that's the way I feel. And I really appreciate this honor tonight from the Automobile Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Born in New York City to Haitian immigrants, Gilles was raised in Montreal, Quebec. Gilles was drawing concept vehicles at the age of 8. When he was 14 years old, his aunt Giselle Muscardi sent one of his sketches to then Chrysler chairman Lee Iacocca. A reply came from K. Neil Walling, Chrysler's design chief at the time, suggesting he attend one of 3 design schools. Ralph Gilles is now the chief design officer for the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Maserati, and Fiat Latin America brands.
We have 3 children, John, Lauren, and Carrie. Now, they all went to undergrad school out of state. Carrie went to Purdue, Lauren went to Arizona State, and John went to the military academy at West Point. And kind of unusual, but each of them wound up coming back home. And each of them wound up getting involved in the business. I didn't encourage any of that. Of course, not that I discourage it, but they have come in and they've taken this company to a whole new level. The one that's most rewarding to me was not a trophy, it was not a plaque. It was seeing my 3 children come in here and take this business and take it with the degree of success that they have to where it is now. That's the best prize, the best gift that I could ever have, and I'm extremely happy about it.
McKinley Thompson Jr. was born on November 8, 1922 in New York City. In 1953, he applied to a scholarship competition called From Dreaming to Drawing Board for the Art Center College of Design that was hosted by Motor Trend magazine. He won first place in the competition and became the first African American to attend the school. After receiving his Bachelor of Professional Arts degree in Industrial Design in 1956 from Art Center College of Design in Los Angeles, he joined the Ford Motor Company's design staff. Thompson was the first African American automotive designer ever, and he was the first African American designer to work at the Ford Motor Company. One of the most iconic vehicles designed by Thompson was the Ford Bronco, originally manufactured during the 1960s. The model was introduced to the public with great publicity and particularly good advertising in August 1965. Later on in his Ford career, Thompson worked on the side to create his dream car in a rented garage in Detroit from 1969 to 1979, enlisting the help of Wallace Triplett, who had broken the color barrier as the first African American draftee to play for the Detroit Lions in 1949. He retired from Ford in 1984 and moved to Arizona with his wife. He passed away on March 5th, 2006.